Let's just use force delete objects because fuck it. Get rid of it. Oh, there's no force delete assets? Oh, come on. Jesus Christ. That's so dumb. Alright, well, we can kind of have it lazily clean stuff up. It's not a major issue, to be honest. What do all these lines mean? A lot. I'm not here to run a tutorial series, I'm here to work. In teaching coding, you would never want to teach coding with all this complicated bullshit that we're working with right here. So I can answer specific questions about things, kind of go over kind of the general idea, but going over every line is going to take 2 million years and we'll never get anything done. So I refuse. Alright, creator update texture is working properly, that's good. We need to create the sprites for the normals. We're going to basically come back and simplify this code once we have it working. So let's go to creator update, create all sprites for animDef object modified sprites. Let's take a look at what this create all sprites for actually does and see if we can reuse it. And it looks like it pretty much does the exact same thing as the others. So we are going to want to modify this function to take the normal def and the emissive def. So create all sprites 4 should take all this. This is normal def and then emissive def. Yeah. This one, it says it's from Castlevania. I kind of just have the chiptune playlist from Spotify on. That's approved for Twitch streamers, and also doesn't seem to get any content flags in YouTube. So the other lists, even though they're approved for Twitch use, I guess get automatically content flagged in YouTube. So I'm trying to, like, the music, whatever, is repetitive and it's the same shit every day, but I have absolutely no idea what the hell to listen to on stream if random crap keeps getting flagged on YouTube that's supposedly approved for use. YouTube's content system is just obviously garbage. Alright, so we're creating all the sprites. So let's take a look, let's boot this thing back up, and I want to look at the names of the sprites that are created. So they're just like called sprite underscore. We obviously don't want that. We want like, you know, normal underscore and things like that. So create update textures, create all sprites for. We're looking for things that start with sprite. So we probably want to have create sprite for create sprite for is creating a sprite based on the sprite name is take the animation definition file and the frame data. We want to give it something else to implement here. Let's it should be like sprite underscore game underscore or like sprite underscore then the name of the thing we want. So let's pass in like a name for this thing. Const string reference. Let's see, this will be the type name. So the sprite path is we're gonna do type name plus this. So it should create all the sprite types for all this stuff. So we need to change the create sprite for function to take an f string type name. Alright, see you later, Adam. So we've got that. So it's create sprite 4 up here. Let's call this game. So we need to match our names here. It's going to be like let's do type name. Alright, so just pass in the type name here. Thought you said lightning? Let's see. Let's type name. Objects modified, sprites.add. What is this sprites that we have? This is Cradle Sprites 4, and then we have these sprites, and it's like Crate Flipbook 4. All the sprites. Alright, well let's just make sure this works real quick. Alright, Lucas. Well, you have a good one. Thanks for sticking around. Blabbering is always fine. I can always choose to ignore. If I feel like it. Alright. So we should be creating all the things just as normal, but we should have a different name for the sprite sheets. Is read only on disk. Are you sure you want to delete it? Well, how in the hell did this... prompt? Like, this should not have prompted. So it's sdig game underscore sprite sheet view asset. Alright, so we have these like sprite game 0 and all this other crap. Looks like the other thing left us, which is good. Looks like we have the wrong names here for these things. We want the Crate Sprite 4. The name should be should have an underscore right here. Alright, back to a quiet stream of just working on stuff, it looks like. Man, I would have liked to have caught that Warriors game earlier. I'll see if I can rewatch it. Probably be on YouTube in like shitty quality. See if there's anything on Facebook. Yeah, I have a bunch of messages. Cavs gonna blow Q4 just so they can go back 0-3 and be the first team to come back from 0-3. Alright, so let's boot up our importer real quick. I was just responding to a few things online. Alright, so we got like sprites, game_5, and all that cool stuff. And these, let's just double check. Let's make sure they're referencing the correct thing. It looks like sprites, stig sprites_sprite sheet, which is the correct one. Awesome. So we've got these guys being made. Now what we need to do is make it so that we make the normals and emissive sprite sheets. I mean sprites, not sprite sheets. We already have those. And I think we're going to do the same thing here. Basically, we're going to pass in those anim defs. And this is not the right function. We've already got these. Alright, so we're actually already getting the texture name properly, so we don't have to do that sort of craziness. What we need to do here is we need to have the sprites up top here. We need to have normals, and we need to have emissives. More like normal sprites and emissive sprites. Normal sprites, emissive sprites, and we need to go all the way up here and change our updates. We need sprites, normal sprites, and emissive sprites, and we'll chunk them in here as well. So do normal and emissive. And we want the anim defs to be like normal def. And this to be emissive def. Cool. So let's go ahead and build them and see what happens. So we should get all those different sprites being created which reference the correct textures. So let's execute our import, and let's see what we've got here. We've got our emissive textures, we've got our normal textures, and our flipbook is just all sorts of screwed. That's really funny. And of course, the reason that things are messed up is because we've got this sprites.add, and instead of sprites.add, we need to do like normal sprites.add and the emissive sprites.add. Let's make sure that works. We're just doing one piece at a time because it's been a while since we messed with this code, and there's no reason not to do it a piece at a time. We're not trying to rush and just make a whole bunch of bullshit. We're just trying to make sure it works. So let's see what we got going on here. Let's do our import. Alright, so they're referencing the correct stuff. All these sprites look pretty good. Yeah, we got like a little tiny sprite there. Our flipbook is totally the correct flipbook and all that fun stuff. Alright, well the thing is though, we're not actually trying to get our textures, right? We're trying to get like our 2 additional textures put in here. But it's not that simple. We actually need not just the textures in here, we're going to need the UVs for everything properly. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break here and I'll be back in just a minute or two. So I'll be right back. So we need to not make sprites. We need to add to the existing sprites that already exist. That's what we need to do. All right. So I actually need to undo some of the work that I was doing here, just because I was confused. So type name doesn't matter. We don't need to make more flipbooks. We're just adding to the existing flipbooks. Alright. I was getting ahead of myself. And it's the, we should actually be taking the frame data for the normals. So and we're actually going to be taking a pointer to normal and to frame data, or normal to emissive and normal data. So normal data and emissive data. Should I pass in all three? Let's just go ahead and pass all three. Normal dev, emissive dev. Normal def, emissive def, and we're going to need these frame pointers. We're going to have normal frame and emissive frame. And we're going to do like for int 32i equals 0, I is less than mdef.mframes.count. I think it's count plus plus I. So the frame is going to be equal to animdef.mFrames sub I. Normal frame is going to start off equaling null pointer. Same thing with this one. We're going to check if normalDef.mFrames.count is greater than I, then normal frame equals the address of mnormaldef.mFrames sub I, and if emissiveDef.mFrames.count is greater than I, then emissive frame equals the address of emissiveDef.mFrames sub I. Is it dot size? It's just num. Okay, cool. Then we have normal frame and emissive frame. Alright, so we're going to need the texture path for the normals and the texture path for the other sprites. So let's see, it's going to be fstring texture Alright, so we can just like copy paste this to grab the other things. So we'll make the normal text. Get asset from image name, we're going to use the normal def. So we're going to have like if normal data does not equal null pointer. And have the normal text equal null pointer. This will be the emissive text. If emissive data does not equal null pointer, then we're going to do emissive def images subframe data. No, it's going to be the normal data and the emissive data. Alright, so we'll create this sprite and then we'll update from the information, and we're going to have all three textures. So we're going to have text, the normal text, and the emissive text. And we're also going to have what? The frame. What is frame? Address of animdef. Let's see. Update sprite. This is in the Dashkin sprite utils. So we've got a thing there that we need to add our additional textures to. So where are these Dashkin sprite utils? Dashkin texture tool. All right. So you have update sprite information. So you've got the texture, the material. Well, the sprite material doesn't matter here. Let's look at the sprite asset init params. We don't have additional textures. Oh, we do have additional textures. All right. So params, additional textures. I guess is it dot push? It's going to be dot add normal text texture and params dot additional textures dot add emissive texture. And we're going to want basically two of these things being put in here. We have normal texture and emissive texture. So we should open up Dashkin texture tool.h. Update sprite information. So let's see, initial texture, we're going to have the normal texture, the emissive texture. So get the normal and the emissive text passed in there. And we need to actually go to our effect import, I'm pretty sure. And we've got the same like update sprite information. Yeah, here it is. Just gonna pass in null pointer, null pointer. And we need this like sprite factory normal texture equals normal text and sprite factory emissive texture equals emissive text. Where's the Dashkin sprite factory? Yeah, here we go. So we've got our normal texture and our emissive texture. And let's go to our constructor for this thing. And let's make sure we're not lazy. Let's initialize our stuff in our initializer list. Alright, so now we should actually have our asset should import. It should also have additional textures 0 and 1 set properly to the emissive and, well, the normal and then the emissive. So let's see how it works. Let's see if it works. It looks like at least we got all the references that everything else is using cleaned up. So there's that. We got that at least. Community strategy games. Whoops, I'm in the wrong community. Should be in game development. Whoops, this is not a strategy game. I am horribly lying to everybody on Twitch. This is totally a strategy game. Alright, so these are all imported. Let's take a look at the sprites though, and let's look at additional textures. We've got slot 0 and slot 1. Excellent. That's exactly what we want. The other thing that we need here is we need the UV coordinates to be able to be separated for these additional textures. We're going to worry about that in just a little bit. Basically, if we went to this and we masked lit sprite, like we've got it does not look right, does it? Like it looks like the we have the normals for these things. Okay. Let's see what this is. We've got additional texture 0 and we've got the source texture. So additional texture 0, and we want the emissive color to be in. This should be additional texture 1. And this slot name should be normals. And this one should be emissives. So we're going to throw this into the emissive color. And this placeholder should be just a white texture. So let's just get a 2x2 white texture, and we'll save that. Let's actually import a white texture. And this one should be just white. Well, we're also gonna, if we got a white texture, we're gonna need a black texture as well. Alright, so we've got that open. So if we go to our sdig, we go to our texture, we got slot 0 and slot 1. If we go to Dashkin, masked lit sprite. So that's all saved, but we're not seeing this show up with like the actual names. So why don't we just reopen it, and yeah, when we reopen it, it looks like it actually sets that. Is there any way to remove an element? It doesn't look right, does it? Texture coordinate index 1? I don't know what these all do. Let's actually maybe pop in these textures to see what we can look at here. So according to this, our texture would look like this, which looks correct to me. So even though we're not seeing it in the sprite view, perhaps it's actually correct, and we're just not seeing things because it's just using out-of-date data or something. So what I'm actually going to do here is, oh man, we're going to change this . This should be inside of the texture tool. Let's see, where do we have the initial texture? Update sprite, it should be normal texture and emissive texture. And let's just not add this emissive texture for right now. And that way I can see if this is some sort of weird shenaniganry going on here. Because I would expect the UVs to match up properly. Because, like, they're not. That's not what I've seen in the past, so I need to double check all that. Because it looks like they should line up perfectly, but they're not. So let's double check it. It's inside of graphics, and we're going to want to just check all this out. Alright, let's go edit, import this thing. I mean, it looks correct. Like, we've got the right stuff in here.